Just to put into perspective how good the 2022 Warriors were, 3 out of the 4 teams they matched up on their playoff run had made it to the finals since. With all this being said, it was definitely one of the hardest playoff runs in recent memory. Nevertheless, they pulled away and won the championship versus the now feared Boston Celtics. After all this, you would think they'd have a bright future, right?
Wrong. The next 2 seasons leading up to now, they struggled to make the playoffs and lost some of their biggest assets. To push this point even further, only 5 players from their championship season remain on their team presently. Even players like Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole, who led the way during that run, are no longer on the team. In today's video, we'll be looking at what actually happened to the Warriors and who's to blame.
Stephen Curry was dominating in the Olympics. This showed fans and the media that he still had some star power left in him. Unfortunately for Steph, after the Olympics, he had to wake up to a nightmarish reality that his friend and teammate, Klay Thompson, had been dealt to the Mavericks. For many, this marked an end to a dynasty. After all, Klay was the second option on a team that had appeared in the finals 6 times. But to understand how he got all the way here, we'll have to go back to the 2019 finals.
Coming into the matchup, the Warriors had won 3 championships in the last 4 years, and it was looking like the Warriors would smoke the Raptors. The Raptors, however, were on an insane playoff run, beating Joel Embiid's Sixers with a crazy game winner, as well as beating a back-to-back MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, Kawhi Leonard was great in these series, but not great enough to beat the Warriors. At least that's what everyone thought. Injuries plagued the Warriors, with KD getting injured in Game 5 and Klay in Game 6.
This eventually became the deciding factor in the series and ended up stabbing Golden State in the back. And it got even worse. Over the postseason, the Warriors lost KD in free agency, and Klay was ruled out the next season indefinitely after tearing his ACL, like we mentioned. However, little did the Warriors know their new draft pick Jordan Poole would be their savior in the years to come.
With the 28th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Jordan Poole from the University of Michigan.
Many people criticized this selection, saying things like the Warriors were dumb for selecting an undersized guard. That sounds a little familiar.
Unfortunately, early in the season, Steph broke his arm, resulting in him only playing 5 games. With their star player not on the court, the Warriors placed dead last in the standings. There was little to no moves over the offseason, and Klay was still most likely to be out most, if not all, of the next season. However, Jordan Poole was definitely progressing. The following season, Steph went on a tear, averaging his career-high 32 points, as well as Poole making his mark, being a valuable role player.
Unfortunately, this wasn't enough, with the Warriors falling to the Lakers and the Grizzlies in the play-in. Thankfully, though, news broke that Klay might make his highly anticipated return for the first time since the dreadful finals series. And that he did. In early January, Klay made his return and scored 17 points. The Warriors ended up the season with a 3rd seed matching up against the Nuggets. Jordan Poole shined in the series, having 32 points in Game 3, playing a major role in the Warriors winning in 5.
And then the next series, in a closeout game versus the Grizzlies, Klay had 30 points. After that, the Mavs played the Warriors in the WCF, but there was no match for them, with the Warriors winning again in 5. By now, the established trio of Steph, Klay, and Poole was feared across the league, and that was shown in the finals. Needless to say, Steph scorched the Celtics, averaging about 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And with this, the Warriors defied the odds and won the 2022 NBA championship.
The Warriors' future was bright. Over the season, they extended Jordan Poole and Draymond Green's contracts, with Poole getting the upper hand. Draymond was furious about this, and during training camp, a few months later, he showed that. In the middle of a practice session, Poole was doing some talking of his own, and with Draymond being Draymond, he punched him right in the face. This got the whole league talking, and even worse, ruined the team's chemistry.
The season went on, and many people thought the last season was a fluke, with the Warriors finishing 6th in the West. They played the Kings in the first round, and wouldn't you know it, Draymond was back at it once again. In Game 2, Draymond Green stomped on Sabonis after an offensive rebound, getting him ejected and even suspended a game. However, that didn't stop the Warriors, with them advancing in 7 to play the Lakers. Though that next series, Poole played terrible, averaging only 8 points.
If you compared that playoff performance to last year's, it was a huge downgrade. The Lakers ended up finishing the Warriors in 6, and with that, a question was raised. Do they keep Poole or do they keep Draymond instead? And as you most likely know, they picked Draymond, sending Poole to Washington. Fans were sad, but eventually moved on. The next season wasn't good either, with the Warriors placing 10th in the standings and losing to the Kings in the play-in tournament. Klay shot poorly as well, with many fans calling him Klay Thompson.
Klay was getting old and very expensive, which motivated the Warriors to trade Klay. Fans were already sad about Poole, but now are heartbroken hearing the news about Klay. Klay was a key part on each and every playoff run the Warriors went through, whether good or bad, and also was a fan favorite. it. Although it will be fun to see what he does in Dallas, he will be missed.
The Warriors have definitely proven to everyone that they have once been a successful program. However, consistently being successful has brought the doubts the past few years. This begs the question, do you blame Steve Kerr? Do you blame Bob Myers? Who do you blame? It's hard to tell, but we think that this may be on the whole organization. For one, Draymond's behavior made it hard to take this team seriously. Klay's injuries made it hard to believe that the starting five could be on the floor together. The bencher struggles made it hard to sub out their better players, creating fatigue throughout the season. Steve Kerr's problems with Kuminga decreased chemistry and jeopardized his tenure with the team. Overall, the struggles can be put upon the entire team and offense, and there's no singular person to blame. The Warriors have shown that they can do it, it's just about consistency. It will be interesting to see what they will do this year, but it sure doesn't look like it will be much different from last year.